Yes, that was better. Welcome, everybody. We're going to have our getting to know you time with our speakers. So tonight I'm going to ask Pastor Johnson and his lovely wife to join me on the stage, please. Amen. Amen. Hello. Welcome. I'd like to officially, I know you've been welcomed before, but I'd like to welcome you on behalf of the NEC Youth Department and all the youth. We're really grateful and we're really appreciative to have you both here with us. And we hope that you've been blessed so far, because we have definitely been blessed having you. Amen? Amen. Yes. Pastor Johnson, I know that you were here with us for I Preach.
Yes.
When was that, last year?
That was a couple of years ago, I think.
And so I wanted to ask you if you remembered your first sermon.
My very
Your
first sermon?
Very first sermon.
Oh, man, that's way back. I got to think real hard about that. I preached my first sermon. I was 20 years old. That was a while ago. I had to think about it. I'll get back to you.
Oh, okay.
It was a youth, by the way, though, it was a youth sermon. I was beginning to get involved with the youth, and they asked me to speak for one of the evenings. And it was a blessing. Sister Brenda Alexis from the First Seventh-day Adventist Church. And I remember that. I remember the experience, but I'll get back to you on the message.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your you can answer this one for us. Okay. Tell us a little bit about back home, your family, your church. We'd like to just get to know you a little bit better.
Okay, back in Maryland, we attend the Seabrook Seventh-day Adventist Church in Lanham, Maryland. Of course, my husband is the senior pastor. We have 3 sons. I call them my 3 sons. And also AAA, because it's Andre, Aaron, and Aiden. Andre's 25, Aaron is 20, and we have a little one, Aiden, who is 10. What else? No. Okay, but I'm not originally from Maryland. I was born in Jamaica.
Oh.
St. Andrews, Jamaica, and my parents immigrated to Maryland, Tacoma Park, Maryland, which is Adventist Haven. I wasn't Adventist when I was 3 years old. So I've been here since, but I'm a West Indian.
Oh.
And very proud of my heritage. Also, what else? I work in Prince George's County Public Schools. I'm a special education teacher for 6th grade.
Wow, okay. You said that you wasn't Adventist at the time, so can you tell us how you became Adventist?
Okay. Well, I was in the Roman Catholic Church. My father was in Jamaica. He was heavily involved in the Catholic Church, and of course, the family went with his faith, like most families. And eventually, about when I was 15, I wasn't really attending a church, just for like holidays. But then series of things would happen in my life. I almost drowned. And some other things, hanging out with friends and things. And I felt impressed that God or something is telling me something. I wasn't spiritual, so I didn't know. But maybe a few years after that, I met Damien Johnson. And
Praise God.
and so we actually worked together at a company, just coming out of high school, both of us in like community college, that kind of thing. And through the course of many events, he would start telling me about the Sabbath, and that was very new for me. And then the state of the dead, which absolutely blew my mind, because growing up, I just always, being Catholic, it was this purgatory and this unknown thing about the dead. And like, I don't know, that really got me. And when he said, "Your sleep until the Lord comes," and I was thinking, that's peaceful, you know. But those little snippets help kind of made me more curious about being Seventh Day Adventist until eventually I took my stance and walked down the sanctuary and church, you know, the aisles, and gave my life to the Lord.
Praise the Lord. So, Pastor, evangelism's the way forward.
Yes, it was.
We can't have you both here without asking you. Well, we know that you met at community college. Is that right? You just said.
Well, we met actually at a job.
At a job,
Yes.
okay.
We were both like clerking. Now he'll tell you a different story than I, but I'm telling you, mine is the truth. Okay, I was hired first, and there was 2 offices, and me and a couple other girls. We would go to the next office to oh, I can't say steal, but we would acquire the staples and different things, you know, for our desk. And then one day I came in and he was sitting in the office. And he was just sitting there reading over something. And I said, "Excuse me, I just need to get something out of the drawer." And he was like, and then he introduced himself and I introduced myself. But he had that look like, why is she coming in here? You know? But, you know, it was just very innocent. And we just started a good relationship with each other. So.
All I know is she kept coming in the room. That's all I know.
I told you, right? Told you.
Wow. Oh, gosh. So how long have you been married?
Woo, let's see. 22 coming September.
Amen, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's ask this one. Who liked who first? This is always contentious.
Well, no, I can tell you. He called me. But honestly, I think it was mutual because I don't know, for some reason I would catch the bus to work, right? And so he would always need change to get something out of the vending machine at work. And I would say, "This is my bus money to go home." And then he would go, "I'll take you home, girl. I'll take you home." And then I would say, "Okay." And then so he would take my bus money. And hence then he would have to take me home. And, you know, we just would talk, and he thought I was crazy. I would turn up the radio. Now, I wasn't a Christian, so I would listen to all kinds of music. And I remember liking Prince, and I was playing it and singing out loud. And he would just look at me like, "This girl is nuts." But you could tell that he enjoyed my company. I guess I was likable. And and then from there, I don't know, things just came about naturally, I would say. Yeah.
So, 22 years of marriage. What advice would you offer the young people here who are maybe just starting out in their marriage journey or looking to be married?
I would say, you know, our story is a little different. We did have our son, our firstborn, out of wedlock. But that was a blessing in disguise. I mean, no child is never wanted. So for me, my son brought me to the Lord because when I was struggling, as I said early on, and almost drowned, and all these different events were happening to me in my life, I didn't know what that meant. So when I found out I was pregnant, it honestly was like I was kind of ready to be a mom, but in the sense in my mind, but I wanted my son to know the Lord because I didn't. So I would bring him to my husband's church, First Church at that time, so that my son would know the Lord. And so while I'm taking my son to church, and singing those, the cradle roll songs and all these different things, it was coming in my head. So I would sing the songs, and I started thinking about the Lord more until eventually the church didn't just become something I wanted my son to experience, but it's something that I was experiencing and loving. So that basically was what started the journey. And so eventually, when we did get married, so we had a little different take on how things developed, quite honestly. So our experiences maybe not like your experience, but I could say even within the marriage, the greatest thing we know that makes a marriage strong is communication and to be on one accord, because no matter how we were raised differently, ultimately the way we decided that we wanted our family to be, we wanted to be a Christian family. We wanted to raise our one son at the time, to be Christian, having worship Friday nights and going to church and all those different things. We know that communication in our marriage was the biggest thing. A lot of times marriages end because of the fact that couples are not communicating with each other. And I just don't mean about like bills, but just talking, laughing, sharing your struggles, expressing yourself. Communication for me is the number one thing in a relationship to have a success.
Yeah, and I second that in terms of communication. I'll also add to that, let your spouse be who they are. Know who you are, and let that person know who they are. And people have different personalities. People are different. You're marrying a person who comes from a different background, who's a different individual, who's had different set of experiences. Embrace that, and yes, we know those sometimes cause clashes or differences, but recognize that a person's personality, who they are, is not wrong, and realize that they bring certain strengths to the marriage, you bring certain strengths to the marriage, and you balance each other out. So celebrate the differences, celebrate who that person is and the differences they have, even the things that you may see as weaknesses. There's strengths in there that help you in your marriage and help balance out. So that's the advice I would give.
Thank you. Okay, I have a little game for us to play. It's just getting to know each other. So I thought I did this to Pastor Sligo yesterday, but I thought it would be fun if maybe you answered for each other. It's very easy, okay? Okay, so first one is really easy. Vanilla or chocolate?
What?
Yeah.
Vanilla.
Is that right? And
Ice cream?
yes, ice cream.
But he really likes butter pecan. So. But if a choice between vanilla and chocolate, vanilla. Yes.
Okay, this one's yours, Pastor. Christmas or Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving.
That's true.
Okay. Which do you think Pastor would pick? The strength of Samson or the wisdom of Solomon?
Now, he likes to go to the gym, but I personally, I personally think my husband would say the wisdom of Solomon, because Samson couldn't control, all that, so.
We were just giving him the strength, not the issues.
Okay.
Yeah, the wisdom of Samson. Then I know the wisdom of Solomon. Was that a psychological? That was a Freudian slip.
A little slip there.
Okay, the wisdom of Solomon, because then I know how to get the strength of Samson.
Okay, it's your turn. So, which would you rather experience? the parting of the Red Sea or walking on water?
Which would she rather
Yeah,
experience? Walking on water, I think.
Okay.
That was,
Okay. Which do you think he would pick? To live on the ark for 40 days and 40 nights, or to be stuck in the belly of the fish for 3 days?
oh gosh. I would say the belly of the fish.
Wow. That's brave.
Just because he'll have his alone time working on his message or something.
Well, there's going to definitely be a message out of that.
Or something like that, because he likes that moment, you know, that to get away and then, you know, to resurface out of the room, you know, after he studies. So
Okay.
I would say that.
Okay, last one. This is an easy one, actually.
Okay.
This is for you. Morning person or night person?
Oh, she would be more of a morning person than a night person. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you that's true.
Okay. All righty then.
Okay. Thank you guys for sharing with us. And we've come to the end of our interview, but we really appreciate you and we thank you for being here with us.
Okay. Thank you.